Hello, it's Richard Bowser from Property Investor News with John Corey of Property Fortress. And we've just been talking with John about the US market, but here we are in London, in the UK, in 2019, and it's a very different market than we had 4 or 5 years ago. Most of us will know why, but from the point of view of property developers working with investors, we're starting to hear some negative stories of stuff that's not perhaps gone as the investors would have hoped for. Would you like to sort of tell us a little bit more about what you think investors should be considering when they're working with developers in the current market?
So when you're working with developers in any market, this is probably going to be best practice, which is you need to really be careful about your documentation. Make sure it's really solid, very complete. I've been talking to some people recently that are getting caught out because the projects have stalled, the values didn't happen, the project sort of took longer than expected, so the costs are higher, and now it turns out that there's flaws in some of the documents. And these are generally private deals, joint ventures, or whatever you want to call them, where everybody was friends, but when it comes down to the proverbial brown stuff in the fan, the individuals are now finding that their documents aren't going to stand up, or that the lender has more control than they expected because the position of the other parties isn't so clear, or they did some side agreements where, okay, I didn't really want to have to go to court with this because it's not going to look very good, or it's going to harm my ability to get another loan when I want to refinance on this property because there's a bit of a catastrophe. And none of these deals were actually fundamentally bad.
No,
but the market stalls, events happen, Brexit, no one predicts the 20% fall in Brexit. So suddenly the margin isn't there anymore.
Correct.
And everybody starts looking to see where the room is to sort of squeeze the deal, and the lack of documentation is really hurting a few people.
So risk mitigation is best done very, very early.
Yes.
Not after the fact of the market turns.
It's like a prenup, and you know that for a joint venture you are going to exit. This is not married to death do you part. So you should be having your prenups in the joint venture agreement really nailed down, and don't be moving money until after it's nailed down. Wait till it's nailed before you shift it into this account or that account. Make sure you have the right controls in the accounts if that's what you thought. If you don't want to have any control, that's fine, but actually think that through.
Some wise words there, John. So for people who are considering currently going into potential schemes, 3 quick tips to consider?
Well, normally people go into schemes because they are looking for a partner that can do something they can't. Maybe they don't have time, maybe they don't have the knowledge or the skills. So you do have to look at who you're working with, and you would like to trust them. I think was proven recently at another meeting, it's better to have really solid documents with someone you don't trust than it is to trust someone with weak documents. Frankly, even if everything was perfect, but then they get run over by a bus, what are you going to do to explain to the estate what your position is?
Yes.
Second is you do need to look at the numbers and then say, well, what if we achieve 20% less than we thought or some other catastrophic event? How is that going to affect things? Are we underwater? Are we still going to be able to make it to the end? Third, short is better. And by the way, also, if you can do it through crowdfunding or something where you have other investors looking at the same documents, and everybody's got the same, you're less likely to have typos, mistakes, things that are missing, because someone's going to spot it.
Called to account.
So if you can get a few people on the same document, then it could actually help when it comes to clarity of what it says.
John, thanks for those wise words of wisdom, born out of much experience and also of watching other people through not just one cycle, but thank you.
A few
and not just one country. John, once again, thanks for your time tonight. So Richard Bowser with John Corey at the London Real Estate Meet, and John is with Property Fortress. John, how do people get in touch with you?
Propertyfortress.com works real well.
Okay, simple as. John, thanks for your time.
Thank you.